Hey, second grade, here is your short story for the day and for tomorrow. Mrs. Roush would love this story. This is called The Art Project. It's about some kiddos who need to be very creative and to reuse some materials, which in turn helps our earth. Remember, our essential question is, how can we protect the earth? Read to find out about saving Earth's resources. Today, this genre is fiction. When I say fiction, you say fake. Fiction. Did you say fake? Fiction is fake. Nonfiction is not fake. So, fiction is a made up story with characters. And this is the story that has your vocabulary words as well in it that we just went over. So, let's go ahead and read together today.
The Art Project. Look, the community center is having an art contest, said Grace. She was holding a flyer. Mrs. Simon read the flyer aloud. Everyone agreed they would like to enter the art contest. Mrs. Simon said, "Our classroom supply of art materials is low because it's the end of the year. I'll check with Mrs. Rice to see what she has." Mrs. Rice, the art teacher, didn't have any art materials. "I won't be getting a supply until next year," she said. The whole class was disappointed. "How can we enter the art contest without art materials?" asked Grace. "Maybe we can raise some money. We could have a bake sale," suggested Hal. "I don't think there's time," Mrs. Simon said. "Let's use the paper in the recycling bin," Pablo said. Pablo did not often raise his hand. He rarely spoke up, so everyone was surprised when he offered an idea.
All right, friends, so far we can see that there's a problem in the story. Most stories that are fiction have problems and solutions. And in order to get to the solution, you often have steps to get there. They're going to try to problem solve through and figure out what to do. So, what is the problem so far in this story? Well, this is Mrs. Simon says, "Our classroom supply of art materials is low because it's the end of the school year." So it's the end of the year, and the kids were really disappointed. So they're already starting to think of some ideas on what they could do to get some more supplies. We're going to go ahead and keep reading and find out what the solution is.
Hal said, "I'm curious about your idea. I want to learn why you would use old paper." "So we can save Earth's resources," replied Pablo. "When we use recycled paper, we use natural materials and save trees. We can also use this old string and these wire hangers," added Grace. Now the class had to decide what to do with the materials. Pablo had another idea. "We can fold the paper into cranes. Then we can attach the cranes to a frame to make a mobile." Mrs. Simon taught the children how to fold the paper into cranes. Then everyone helped attach the cranes to the mobile.
Now, a mobile is basically like what you hang over a crib, a baby's crib. The mobile, or some parents and I called it a mobile. It's turns or it hangs above the baby to help entertain. So I think some of you maybe have made one before with just a hanger with a teacher in the past, and then you hang art pieces or different art projects from that, and you can hang it up in your room. So that's what they're doing. They're just going to fold all this recycled paper, and they're going to make a hanging mobile. So here is the art contest day coming up.
On the day of the art contest, the paper crane mobile hung in the enormous community center room. The huge space was crowded with art projects. From far off, the class spotted their project. The crane mobile swayed gently as people walked past. From a distance, the paper cranes appeared to be softly flying. The judges checked each art project. They looked closely at the crane mobile. The paper crane mobile won the prize for the most creative use of materials. As the class proudly accepted their prize, they could not stop grinning. Grace exclaimed, "We made our art project, and we saved the earth at the same time."
All right, friends. So, what was the solution? How did they fix the problem of not having enough art supplies? Well, they reused the recycled paper. They used paper that maybe there were scraps around the art room, and they decided instead of just throwing them away, they were going to reuse them and make a beautiful art project. So the solution was to use what was around them. And that's something you can do at home if working on art projects. Maybe there's some things that you thought you were just going to throw away, but you can reuse them and turn them into another art project. I want you to think about something else. What do the children do at school to help protect the earth? That is the essential question, and that's just what we stated. The solution. The solution was to reuse some old recycled paper that they had around. Here's just a couple more things we're going to talk about this week. I want you to always think about and predict. Good readers are able to stop and think what's going to happen next. I know a lot of you are thinking, what would I do if I didn't have any art supplies? I may not have as many as at home as Mrs. Roush does. So a good reader is always able to think about what's going to happen next. And I know we do that a lot with read alouds. Here is our comprehension skill this week. I kind of touched on a little bit, problem and solution. The plot is often about the problem in the story. The solution is how the characters solve the problem by the end of the story. So you can see the problem, the class does not have enough art materials to make an art project. And then they started by having some steps, or what I would say is ideas, to get to the solution. For example, Pablo made a suggestion and some of the other kids did as well. And we've already talked about the solution using the recycled paper, and they even won an award at the art contest. The genre this week is fiction. It tells a story about imaginary characters and events, which often includes a problem and solution and often includes dialogue. Now, dialogue is not something we've talked about very much. Dialogue is the words that the characters speak. The words are set inside of quotation marks. Now, we have talked about quotation marks. Maybe your kindergarten or first grade teacher called them talking marks. The dialogue is the words in between those quotation marks. So that should be a bit of review, the quotation marks. Homophones we're going to talk a little bit about in grammar time. Homophones are words that sound the same, but they have different spellings and different meanings. So one example I like to give you is the sky is blue. And that's a color word, B-L-U. It sounds the same as the wind blew, but that kind of blue is B-L-E-W. And there's another example here from the story on page 377. There's the word whole, W-H-O-L-E, like if you ate a whole pizza. And then there's also H-O-L-E, which sounds the same but means something different, like a hole if a dog dug a hole. Okay, so I think that's it. Let me just make sure. Yep, that's all we're going to talk about for now, and that's what we're going to talk about all week long. So, friends, have a great day today. Let me know if there's any questions or anything I can do to be helpful. See you soon. Bye.